Hey, what's up, y'all? It's YORO, and welcome back to more Witch on the Holy Night. Hope you're doing alright. Let's continue. Where we last left off, Aoko and Sojiro trying to not die because Alice is being a witch right now. She is just going super hard. Well, she makes it look flawless and easy. She's just chilling while she's letting her magic do all the work. Her magic is very crazy, by the way. It's like almost like true magic, pseudo true magic. I forget the exact way they described it, but very crazy stuff. The whole theme park animated, all these creatures animating from objects, just manifesting this weird countdown bomb thing that was chasing them. So, but at the very last part of last time, there was a very sweet moment between Aoko and Sojiro in which they've affirmed their team up. They both care, as much as Aoko can't really show it. But that was really sweet. That was really nice. So, where do we go from here? Let's see. Their clash of wills ended here. Aoko's blood ran hot from her blazing heart. If he was going to make a face like that, all she could do was try to think of a way to get them both home. Yeah, she's full in on saving them both. Now, where that results tomorrow, we'll see. But
私だって逃げっぱなしは性に合わないし。いいわよ。最後まで粘ってみる。それにしずきくんが付き合ってくれるなら、何かの役には立つでしょ。
something. There's got to be something he can do. A distraction, maybe? I don't know. That's kind of what he did before in the funhouse. Though her tone had lightened, there was still hesitation in her eyes. It was only natural. Aoko had not even a clue as to how to begin to fight the SNARK. If only she had been just a bit more skilled or had trained just a bit more, there might have been some way to look for it. Yeah, they gotta find... Yeah. The SNARK, the source of all this. Yeah, how the fuck in this giant park, how do they find it? It's been the problem. They can't escape, clearly. It would be too taxing, and it would have resulted in Aoko basically sacrificing herself for Sojiro, which is fucking crazy. And we had that whole moment last time. So here we are. Unconsciously, she let her apprehension show. Sniveling was pointless. She would just have to figure it out by herself, but... What do you mean? That's all? Have you had an idea this whole time? Huh? Aoko gave him a look as if to ask what that was supposed to mean. Oh my god. Did he find it? We found something weird. Sojiro also made a face that suggested she should have brought it up sooner. Yeah, apparently. If he had known, he would have brought it up. Interesting. Old unconventional Sojiro over here. He just gets it. Sojiro whispered in her ear quietly, so as to not be overheard. Smart. It was certainly unexpected, but then again equally obvious. After he explained the mistake, she knew right away that he was correct. At last she had an inkling of Flat Snark's original form, namely... What is it? Is it like so obvious that she would have never thought about it? Ooh. They strategized for 10 minutes. Okay. After deliberating the Snark's true form and figuring out a plan of attack, the two exchanged nods in acceptance of their roles. They did that thing where it's like, we won't tell the audience, but, we know. And we just gotta enjoy the show. Alright. They have a plan.
でも、ミラーハウスの時みたいなのは勘弁してよ。この作戦の肝はあなたなんだから。開始1分でドジったら、本当に打つ手なしだからね。
It hinges on Sojiro. Though she jabbed him for his previous failure as a decoy, her voice was bright. Aoko's original vigor had returned to her at Sojiro's discovery of the truth. Nice. Meanwhile, Sojiro was also getting serious in his own way. He took Aoko's warning to heart. Good.
ならいいけど、いい？さっきと立場は反対よ。失敗したら死ぬのは私じゃなくてそっち。もうフォローに回れないから、できるだけ慎重にね。
分かってる。今更ながら、やっぱりさっき逃がしてもらえばよかったと思うぐらい慎重だ。
Sojiro nodded, telling her to leave it to him. Though he made it sound like he was holding a grudge, it seemed to him to be the only way of showing her his resolve. Aoko let out a sigh of defeat. Once more, she couldn't figure him out.
ほんと、大バカなんだか大物なんだか。
Yes?
でも任せた。
Probably? Both? He's best boy. That's all I can glean so far of him. That's all I can know. She had wanted to say that she believed in him, but apparently that was too embarrassing for her. One day. Or not. Aoko turned away from Sojiro and began to run. She had begun to think that maybe this change of pace was not so bad after all. Man, this theme park is so... The lighting is beautiful. And so ended the intermission. The young cast members were handed their new lines. Whatever happened next, the Night of Witches had at long last entered its climax. Here we go. Well, obviously they're not going to die, but we'll see. Oh yeah, her little scout. She was filled with foreboding at the Robin's report. Apparently they had gone in opposite directions. Okay. That's how the plan starts. Okay. The park's residents had set off after the boy witness and it would take them mere minutes to capture him, so the bird said. She can't believe it. This actually threw her off. The robin flapped its wings, chirping away any doubt. It had seen them with its own two eyes. Aoko was heading off for the plaza. Excuse me, while the cocky brat was making a run for the roller coaster. Yeah, she like can't believe it. Oh yeah, Dumpty. The robin nodded enthusiastically. It didn't know about the other birds, but with its superior night vision, it had seen that sucker clearly because he had moved to a high point. Wow. Dumpty said that? Scratch Dumpty was a ticking time bomb that would drop and detonate the moment its target averted its gaze. Yeah, and Sojiro was the one to figure that out, too. Forgot that was its name. But yeah, I forgot it was a giant egg. That is, as long as his target continued to observe him, in a way, he was a gentlemanly ploy kickshaw, though Alice wished he would forego such niceties when in battle. That's so funny. They have their own personalities and things about them. Rules. When the poem completes. Until the park, or rather the SNARK, was destroyed, Sojiro would not be able to escape. Which meant the larger concern was Aoko. Aoko had promised to protect the boy, which begged the question, where was she running to? Yeah. She proclaimed that. That's why Alice is like, what are they up to? Alice looked out over the park, ignoring the robin's attempt to get her attention with its plumage. Flat Snark had nearly reached its full size. It's still growing, my goodness. It was a different breed of beast compared to the other cheap ploys. To her, it was one of her 3 most irreplaceable and precious familiars.
そうね。任せたわスナーク。青子が諦めない以上、あなたも手は抜かないで。
SNARK. Yeah, she's really trying to teach Alco a lesson here. Alice remained where she was. With the same historical merit as the troll under the bridge and the poison-clawed reptile, Flat Snark was one of Alice's ultimate ploys. The same historical merit as the troll under the bridge and the poison. So I don't think I know the poison-clawed reptile, but troll under the bridge, that's classic. And Flat Snark is on that tier. She was placing her trust in its reputation and ability. The thing is, I don't know what the true form could be. If it's obvious, like, is it the Ferris wheel? Is it like what did Sojiro notice?
でも忘れないで。これはゲームよ。勝敗がついたのなら、私のところに帰ってきて。
I genuinely don't know what it could be. I'm guessing Ferris wheel, but I don't know. Because the Ferris wheel, I think, already tried to get them. And considering it's hiding, I guess hiding in plain sight, maybe? This is a game. Yeah, Alice is chilling. More than enough for Alco and Sojiro as they are, though. The drifting fog ignored its master's words. It was the one thing that Alice had misread. Flat Snark was a king, even among the other ploys of terrible, vulgar antics. Death to the defeated, gruesome tragedy to the vanquished. Oh. Interesting. It found no pleasure unless it brought back dramatic ruination of life and wealth. So that's Flat Snark's thing. Well, that's quite dramatic, as it said. Goodness. These ploys and their quirks. The fog billowed like wicked laughter. After all, only a king had the right to decide the fate of the vanquished, and the Snark's greed could not be contained. So are these like familiars, quote unquote? Because clearly these are a tier above like regular Magus familiars. Maybe even multiple tiers. But these familiars probably have the most personality that I've ever seen in any of this type of anything that could be classified as familiar in Type Moon before, right? Like, this is so weird, but cool. Thus, it hadn't even the slightest intent to play fair despite its master's orders. Because, yeah, they're rooted in, like, fairy tale. I mean, it's like that whole Alice thing, right? It's got the whole fairy tale theme going. It explained it more before. I might have to rewatch that part. Over 100 feet high. Oh, they're rooted in, like, the legend, and that kind of gives them power. The people's belief, and also Alice's magic. One careful step at a time, the figure made its way gingerly up the track, which stretched into the heart of the amusement park. Wait, is it? Wait, no, the roller coaster. Oh, this is Sojiro. He stayed his beating chest and the pounding of his breath. Even tiny movements were an obstacle to his progress. Whoa. Amazingly, the one making this pale-faced advance higher and higher was Sojiro Shizuki. Far below, he saw that a horde of bread creatures had congregated by the roller coaster platform. Oh, they're waiting on his ass. As they bustled this way and that, their numbers continued to increase by the minute, seemingly cheering on Sojiro with raised arms as he made his ascent. Terrifying. Knowing they like want to kill you, terrifying. Or rather, they jeered as if beckoning him to come down. Good to know. The breadmen don't like heights. Of course, neither did Sojiro, but his current state was the lesser of two evils. The only thing that followed him now was the floating egg. That is also terrifying. Sojiro was already built different for dealing with all this shit. Not that he has a choice. After heaving a huge sigh, Sojiro bent forward a bit and climbed the track that inclined toward the heavens. Well, I guess he did have a choice. He could have accepted Aoko's offer. But again, he's built different. 150 feet now. If this were a skyscraper, he would be on the 16th floor. Whoa. A strong gust of wind whipped through his hair. Humans had an instinctual fear of heights. In particular, a place like this, which called forth visions of falling to one's death, would cause a person's knees to tremble against their will. It was an instinct that forewarned death, urging its master to return to the safety of the ground. It was a reasonable reaction. Climbing the roller coaster tracks went beyond funny stories and into the realm of fantasy. Well, that's where we are. The strong winds and change in air pressure were a hindrance. His instincts screamed at him to stop, causing his limbs to go numb, his muscles to go limp, and his mind to race. Even if he had been tied to a lifeline, a mere 15 feet of climbing would still have caused his thoughts to freeze out of sheer terror. But he keeps going. And it would only get worse from here, exponentially so. Every foot forward increased the load on both his mind and his body by another degree. But he keeps going. The burden on his mind notwithstanding, he carefully measured the toll on his body with every step. His legs, which had carried him running this far, threatened to buckle the moment he let down his guard. This fatigue was likely why Aoko had stressed that Sojiro's role was more dangerous than hers. Maybe? Sojiro laughed as he stared at the floating egg. Yeah, there's also that. He reflected on the course of events that had led to this absurd situation. His life is now different forever. Not even 10 minutes ago, they had been engaged in conversation.
じゃあ次ね。正体が分かった以上、あとはどう壊すかを話し合いましょう。
Oh, I'm so eager to see this plan play out. Sojiro felt a shudder travel down his spine at Aoko's smug grin. In hindsight, Aoko had been more than happy at this point to make him do something absurd. Evil. Sojiro wondered aloud. From what he'd seen, Aoko had enough firepower to tear clean through the fence. He'd refrained from speculating about Flat Snark's true form because he'd felt there was nothing they could do about it, even if they knew. But that had changed. For Aoko, the impossible was quite literally within her grasp. Whoa, really? Despair filled Sojiro's eyes. But he could get close, right? Aoko lifted a hand to her long hair and, with a magically charged fingertip, clipped a clean tuft of it. Oh? Elbow grease. Whoa, interesting. I know hair is a source of power, too. Oops. But based on where Aoko pointed her gaze, she did not really mean to leave it up to Sojiro to pick the highest place he could find. She was staring conspicuously at one of the amusement park's two main attractions, the roller coaster. That face. Wouldn't you know? Wink wink, nudge nudge. There were two demons in this park. Her smile made even Sojiro want to respond that it was far from perfect. That fucking grin. And his like Mickey Mouse ass face every time she says shit like that.
私に殺されるのならいいんでしょ？
Damn, he did say that.
人の出現を悪用するのは良くないと思う。
Sojiro hung his head. This was not sane. Could probably use that to describe the whole novel from this point forward, I'd imagine. If he did as she said, he would die from exhaustion before Kitsy even had a chance to eat him.
私だって鬼じゃないわ。ほら、
Yeah,
こっち向いて。
that would be very tiring to manually climb a roller coaster track to its peak. Like how sharp it inclines. Like goodness.
おまじないかけてあげる。
A charm. Whoa. It was the lightest of touches. Boop. Close enough for their breath and skin to come in contact. Whoa. That's a pretty CG. Zaki, he finished with a hushed voice. For one of them, this was a rather mundane magecraft. For the other, it was a head-spinning, intimate ambush. Whoa.
軽く、弱く、うまく、早く。チクタクチクタク、急げや急げ。
What does this do? The weight of the air, the tremble of one's breast, light lags behind while shadows pull ahead. The stamina buff, words that could not be produced by a normal larynx carried a peculiar weight to them, reverberated against his eardrums. I love that. Words that could not be produced by a normal larynx. That's witch throat right there. If words were given colors, these would have been the color of her name, blue. I like that. It's the little things. The little way things are written. I'm like, man, Nasu just cooking. Sojiro's exhausted body and burning blood gently cooled.
飛ぶ、泳ぐ、駆け抜ける。チクタクチクタク、汽笛を鳴らせ。星は
Interesting.
北の空。どこまでも、いつまでも。
In reality, it took but a few seconds, but the sudden contact had felt a little longer.
よし、暗示成功。
Mesmerized.
ここまで手応えがあったの初めてだし。
Wow. First time, huh?
アリスの小言もたまには役に立つじゃない。
She's such a powerful OP noob. A very merry Aoko stood aside a very confused Sojiro. After he asked what the heck had occurred, she responded.
簡単な暗示よ。一時的に恐怖心を消しておいたから、高いところに登っても平気なはず。
Okay, how temporarily? Because I think, I guess mentally. So it looks like when he was climbing the track, his body was still responding. So maybe it didn't take fully. I don't know. What a spell though.
あの手の作業で一番足を引っ張るのは同様でしょ？恐怖も何も感じなければ、地上何メートルだろうと平均台とそう変わらない。
Yeah, no difference. Well, that solves the feeling, I guess. He seemed to get it. It actually all sounded like Greek to Sojiro, but he accepted it as an explanation for her strange actions. Meanwhile, on the roller coaster track.
やっと着いた。
Okay, so I guess he wasn't feeling those things. I think the scene was actually describing like this would make anyone's knees tremble. Like that wasn't actually happening to him. He was just feeling the physical toll of it, like just the exhaustion. But the fear actually worked. It wasn't there. I see. That was cool. He'd arrived at the summit of the track. From nearly 200 feet high, Sojiro had a bird's eye view of the entire amusement park. He was able to spot Aoko's figure right away. In the plaza not so far from here, she seemed to be occupied with something conspicuous. Her surroundings lay still. The bread men were still busy trying to figure out how to reach Sojiro by trial and error from the roller coaster's entrance. They were over 300 feet away now.
汗をかくはずだ。こんなに移動したのか。
The strong winter gales quickly dried the sweat on his brow, but he was drenched underneath his shirt. This much sweat was worth at least a half-mile run, not to mention all the scares he had experienced throughout the night.
でもよかった。あとは合図を待つだけだ。
Bro's gonna be exhausted tomorrow. He felt a wave of relief, but not at the thought of Aoko destroying the SNARK in this nightmarish park. He was simply happy that he could repay a bit of his debt from the House of Mirrors. Nice. It's interesting. He's not relieved that they're about to escape and be fine. He was happy to repay the debt. What a guy. A blue bullet rose from the plaza where Aoko was located.
合図だ。
There it is. Toss it. Sojiro stood up atop the tracks, pulled out the pouch he had stowed in his pocket, and tossed it forward. Gotta give it a good chuck. Without any regard for his questionable footing, he gave it a mighty overarm pitch. Yeah, you gotta really throw it. The small pouch drew a parabolic curve in Aoko's direction, quickly becoming untied in midair. The strands. Inside the bag was the lock of her hair and a small stone weight.
高いところから風に乗せてくれれば、あとは何とかするから。
Old Blue. Aoko had said, but it was Sojiro's effort that had set the plan in motion. The tuft of hair remained airborne, drifting as if watching over its owner. Sojiro's job was done. He remained concerned about the egg hovering over him, but there was nothing he could do about it. Sojiro breathed a sigh of relief and leaned forward to watch the rest of the plan unfold, but then... In the corner of his eye, he thought he spotted something familiar approaching Aoko. Wait, what? Alice? What's approaching?
ルート、セット。
Oh shit. Activating the formula. The formula. Whoa, on the ground?
ディレクト、1層、2層、予備に3層。
So cool.
魔力提供、体現に固定。循環よし、射角よし、術式安定、大まかよし。
Greater source. Good enough on formula stability. I like that. That's what we need right now. Good enough. A pattern began to carve itself into the brick street. The casting of an unprecedented incantation with unprecedented range. Whoa, is some new shit? Unprecedented. This is an Alco original exclusive. Keeping the rising tension contained within her chest, the fledgling mage snapped her fingers.
決めた。ツアープラン、スターマイン。
Bullet configuration. She kneeled at the center of the formula and raised her head to the night sky. Not even a glimpse of the transmogrified fantasy land around her entered her vision now. Only one thing, one untouchable thing was reflected in her blue eyes. What is it? What's the form? What is it?
ずっと気になっていたことが。
Oh, the reveal. This is how their conversation started a few minutes prior. Sojiro began with a simple statement of fact. In truth, it really was the simplest of discrepancies. Any difference between the reality of an hour ago and the illusion of the present was both infinitesimal and infinite.
雲があったから勘違いしたんだろうけど。
It was hiding in plain sight. That's what I was thinking, but what is it? Too impossible to be real, too outlandish to be here. In this amusement park where every paradigm had shifted, something was brazenly flaunting its normalcy. The
今夜は
moon?
新月なんだ。青崎。
Oh shit. Wow. Okay, I didn't get it until they showed this scene, but yeah, there you go. It took me actually seeing it and, 0.5 seconds before the text appeared saying it, but yeah, there you go. Wow. Would have never guessed.
思えば初めっからその形だったものね、あんたは。
Wow. Is there anyone out there who played this who noticed that? Who remembered that detail? Did they show the moon prior to this scene? If so, that's godlike. The distance from the Earth to the moon was 238,900 miles. If it truly was identical to the actual moon, then this monster indeed lived up to its eerie reputation. Wow, Alice, that is clever. At a distance that vast, there would have been no need to hide. It could flaunt its true form for all to see. Cow jumped over the moon? But if it had to hide its true form, that meant it was vulnerable. The monster's camouflage implied that it sat within the reach of human hands. Yeah, that's true. It has to look unreachable. So conspicuous, so obvious, but like it's the moon. It's like you wouldn't think you could do anything to it. You wouldn't even try. You wouldn't even think of it. That's... wow. That's really smart. But it is reachable because it's vulnerable. Okay. They know it's vulnerable or else it wouldn't hide like that. At this point, it was time to give it all she had. Drawing on the energy surging throughout the park, she extended her firing arm. A blue firework launched into the air. Ooh, augmented by her hair. Looking up at her hair dancing in the wind above, Aoko reached out her right hand as if to catch the night sky. Will that extend her range? A mage's own body made for the perfect catalyst. And for a female mage, the hair she had grown out over many years made for a particularly valuable and powerful source of fuel. Yeah, I remember Rin talking about that. I think that was a thing with her. To use it, all she had to do was apply her will. She locked the fingers on both her hands together and shouted. Oh man, let's go. Wow. She hurled forth a clear challenge to bind the moon to herself. What a sentence. Her hair, herself as the catalyst. What a badass plan. The mist began to whirl about in a vortex. The monster high above bore its fangs at the sight of the blue spell that appeared in midair. Ooh, it don't like that. It don't like that. Yup. By the time Alice had noticed the change, the hostility between Aoko and the SNARK was palpable. Wow. Alice is like, yeah, alright, you figured it out, fine. It's done. The rain clouds too. Oh my gosh, can she not call it back in time? No, Flat Snark wants this. Flat Snark has its own personality. It's not listening. Alice wasn't listening. The fog continued to thicken with no sign of abating. Oh my goodness, Flat Snark wants the smoke. Oh my goodness. Well, I didn't notice the rain clouds either. That's crazy. The moon that floated in the night sky could not pardon such an insolent mage. Insolent mage. That's an insolent witch. As if the Lord of the Night would bow down to such impudence. There was no staying its wrath at a challenge so flagrant. So, what, the Lord of the Night? Wow. Is it like just the fairy tale concept of the moon? Cow jumped over the moon type shit? Dude, it wants this. Nope. Are we about to witness the death of a ploy kickshaw, if such a thing can happen. The Robin swooped in to give its report, but Alice waved it away. Her gaze was fixed on the transforming golden moon. Insolent mage. Her calls of restraint did not reach it. This fairy tale monster was beholden to nobody, and it would have no qualms unleashing its vast might upon its puny prey. I love it. Meanwhile, Alco is just like Bullet. The core of her magic bullet howled. The magic circuits within her body spun. Hold on, I just gotta. Oh my gosh. Holy, this is a wallpaper. This is a wallpaper engine wallpaper right here. Are you kidding me? That is gorgeous. Alco fed the magical energy, scorching her nerves with imaginary flame. She was linked to the formula inscribed on the ground. The spell was read and executed the same as it always was, but its output was beyond reckoning. A bullet with power that we haven't seen before. With this much firepower, even this mundane process would invite injury upon its caster. Oh, this is going to have some recoil. It was enough to burn up the nerves that were acting as the barrel. Damn, some strong enough to burn up her circuits. That almost sounded like some Shiro shit, burning her nerves. The imaginary heat had reached a terrifying temperature. Alco trembled at this endless feeling, but would have to grin and bear it lest their efforts come to naught. Alco could no longer move. When she had learned the Snark's true form from Sojiro, she gave up on any superiority a movable turret offered, instead opting to become a stationary cannon. Damn. Just buckling down and firing the biggest shot of her life. That was the only way she could reach it. Oops. It was impossible to hunt the Snark unless she anchored her crest at this location and angle. At the same time, this action revealed that she was out of options. Once the fuse was lit, she would have no choice but to fight to the bitter end. This is an all or nothing. Alco took a deep breath. This was the way she wanted it. Her preparations were complete. She would be able to deliver this maelstrom of magical energy directly to the moon like a rocket payload. The third mid-air layer served as the cannon's muzzle and sight. It would fire the magical energy once it reached criticality, and it allowed Alco to adjust the angle of fire. I love when it explains the magic. So cool. Oh shit. It's defending itself. The moon became warped within her scope. It's throwing her off. Solar flare? Lunar flare? As Alco charged her magical energy, the ploy displayed its golden form as if to mock her. It's like, bring it, bitch. Which, come, worship the heavens, powerless scion of an innocent bloodline. Innocent bloodline. What a roast. It's like, your bloodline ain't dirty enough to fuck with me. Y'all haven't done enough, you baby. My goodness. For there it was, a point among the otherworldly sky, a mystical visage obfuscated by jade mists and azure clouds, called the greatest treasure known to the world of magecraft. A rarity more valuable than an entire kingdom. Crown Phantasm? Hold on, new Nasu noun just dropped. What the fuck? Crown Phantasm? We gotta add it to the list. Noble Phantasm, Marble Phantasm, Broken Phantasm, fucking Crown Phantasm. Look at the way it's described. What? The greatest treasure known to the world of magecraft? So is this just the best one of all the phantasms? Holy moly. What am I looking at? What is this? Whoa. Scary. Oh my god, the noise it's making too. Imagine just seeing that in the sky. Its attention focused on you. The animosity, oh man. Set apart from the first, the world's greatest fabrication, the first. First what? First magic? The world's greatest fabrication. Holy moly. Alright, I think this is even more powerful than I thought.
まだ早い。
She is charging that shit. She's gonna need to. Apparently, with this opponent, her instincts screamed at her to delay no further. This fairy tale monster was the greatest of its kind, and it was about to expose its true form. Oh? Right, because the moon was the camouflage. Okay. So, what the fuck? And this is the strongest one. Did Alice just unleashed her strongest one? She can't even call it off at this point. It has its own hubris, ego, fucking... That's awesome. Its open hostility made it clear that it was ready to counterattack.
もう動けない。逃げを捨てての大栄翔。先に撃たれたらそこで終わりだ。
So, is Alice gonna help? Because Alice doesn't want Aoko to die. She's trying to teach her a lesson. She wants Sojiro to die. But if she has to charge it more and she's about to get hit, then she had to shoot it down first. Magical energy was at 80%. Man, the formula was operating normally. All that was left was to pull the trigger, but the calm voice inside her asked if that was really okay. She had one shot at this, and there was no going back. It was a battle of precision with no room for miscalculations. Even a tenth of a second of hesitation would tip the scales. Was she ready for the pain? Was she ready to deal with the fallout if she missed? Could she really even take down the moon with such a tiny bullet in the first place?
いい。とりあえず当たった後で考える。
Shoot first, ask questions later. There you go. Her eyes fixed upon the moon were filled with determination. She knew that the moment she fired, the intense recoil would overwhelm her entire body. Still, she shouted.
上等。出し惜しみはなし。目いっぱい
Let's
ぶん回すわ。
go. Bring it on. Fuck yes, dude. I'm a firing my bullet. With every ounce of spirit she possessed, she fired her ultra long-range projectile into the sky. The fucking cannon. Yo! Oh my goodness. Gander could never. Oh my goodness. The third layer embraced the magic bullet, fired from the surface of the earth. The crest, an extension of Aoko's self, unleashed light to pierce the moon. What a sentence. However, okay, went through the layer like a fucking magnifying glass. Just, whoa. What? Where the fuck did that come from? An enormous blue canopy pulverized the beam. It returned the ether, that 3,000 degree flame, to nothing as it came in contact with the bullet. Well, all right then. Are you kidding me? All that just to suddenly manifest a giant rock shield? Be like, no. The recoil of the Grand Mage craft literally boiled her blood. Her body couldn't handle it. Her heart stopped. Whoa. Her brain went numb from the pain and impact. Her nerves putrefied from end to end. But her magic crest revived them all by force. Holy fuck. What? Her heart stopped, her brain went numb, her nerves putrefied, but her magic crest fucking jump-started her organs and body again? What the fuck? What an awful feeling that must have been. Ice? It's a giant glacier. Even though her vision had gone white, she could still see it. Swallowing the blood in her mouth, Aoko looked up with a scowl. There it was, an enormous shield of ice and a sneering, deformed skull. What the fuck are you, Flat Snark?
それとも早すぎた。盾を作られる前に撃てばよかった。それとも正面からじゃ無謀すぎた。
Okay, Alice has to step in. This is too far. Alco, that was really impressive. You're so powerful, but clearly this thing is on just a whole other level. The greatest fairy tale legends crown phantasm. This is a tier of magic I didn't even know existed. Like, come on, Alice, help, help.
どっちでもいい。
Oh,
一層、二層、再起動。
React. She's gonna do it again. Alice, wait, Alco, you're gonna die. There was no time to think, or I guess she already did, but fucking jumpstart. Clear. Again, there was no time to think or hesitate. The magical energy throughout the park began to gather. Alco knelt across from the tyrannical face of the moon. She intuited that the ice had yet to fully form. Flat Snark still hadn't reached its full strength. Oh. Okay. Which was exactly why
まずいまずいまずい。
Alco. By accelerating the spell, Alco damaged her own body. The burden of linking the formula to the snark caused intense pain. All she could do was grit her teeth and endure it. All because
あの氷、私のマックスよりもっと上だ。
it is. You can't get through the ice, so what? You're gonna shoot around it? Curve the bullet? Alco had gotten a read on their relative strengths. Even if its volume of magical energy was identical, Snark's form, its mystic scale, was in a different league. Alco could charge her energy to her absolute limit, and that would barely make a dent in the ice wall. Meanwhile, there was nothing she could do to prevent her own annihilation if the Snark gathered as much energy as it could. So, okay, so what then? She loaded her next shot. She issued orders to the floating third layer. Ignoring the toll on her body, she began to accelerate the first layer formula. The role of her right hand's single layer was to absorb and store surrounding magical energy. Cool. Okay. The thick fog that drifted through the park was an ancient ether spewed out by Flat Snark's own body, but Alco could pour it into her own formula. Oh, that's right. It's a source for her. Alco's body, which had integrated with the formula, took on an amount of magical energy that far surpassed its maximum capacity. It seethed in agony. The container is not large enough, but she's still doing it. Or rather, it trembled in delight. Weird. For a mage, magical energy was a propellant to reach the realm of mystics. The root, the expansion of internal time, the liquefaction of the self, the release from the physical, they were all what one might call a near-death experience. On the precipice of what lay beyond, Alco stood firm and faced reality. It's like some shit that'll make you see the roots. Still, reality had come to break her will. Oof. The gap between them was plain to any observer. The gun barrel named Alco Alzaki had not a chance to chip away at that lump of ice. She accelerated the spell further. The skull grinned. That ice was no shield, it was a hammer to crush mages who did not know their place. Whoa, it's not even a shield? The moon laughed as it prepared to crush not just Alco, but the boy atop the roller coaster, as well as the park in its entirety. Flat Snark said, fuck all this, you're all dead. The ice is not a shield, it's a hammer. It's just that fucking durable. Dude, Alco. Her circuits were on the verge of going critical. Her body had been charged with a scorching power supply from her fingertips to her eyeballs. Yo, this is about to be the shit that dyes her hair red. She's going crazy. She would see the bullet fired. She would arrange the Magecraft formula as quickly as her nerve's transmission speed would allow. A single attack was not enough. Yeah, it's like the shit. It's like Emiad, like, burning his circuits so hard his skin turns brown. This is like Alco's hair is about to turn red from this shit. A single attack was not enough. There was no way to shoot it from its flank. Which meant there was only one solution. Okay, so you can't get it from the flank, so what? Whoa. The third layer began to transform. It switched from direct to alternating current. The spell's supposed strong point was its ability to adjust its trajectory mid-flight. Right now, all she wanted was numbers.
セットオクタグラム
Octagram.
全回走ぶん回せ
Yo. So she wants multiple shots to go around it. Holy, alright, here we go. Goodness. I'm just imagining Sojiro's POV. 8 shots. All going around it. Nice. A blue sun shined down upon the amusement park. Blue sun versus fairy tale moon. Insanity. Beams of light at maximum output streak forth to pierce the golden moon. Excuse me, golden moon. Blue sun versus golden moon. Eight shots. Is that enough though? Whoa. It's carving. It's doing something. Oh no. Holding down the trigger, she continued to fire, taking in energy and infinitum. They didn't have to go so hard with this VN remake, but I'm so glad they did. This is beautiful, to say the least. Blue flame shot forth at critical level, but the ice would neither melt nor mar. Fuck, man. No amount of sheer heat could make a dent in something formed from such a colossal amount of magical energy. I thought so, but it's like, come on. Give her something here. I mean, she's surviving at the very least. Alice, help. Help, Alice. A toll on her circuit sent them berserk and blood began to run free. The battle had become a tussle over the magical energy that filled the park. From the very beginning, this had been the SNARK's home turf. The SNARK had control over at least 80% of the space, while Alco had 20 at best. Fuck, man. Yeah, because she's taking in the magical energy produced from the atmosphere of Flat SNARK's presence, but it's so minuscule compared to, like, that's its energy. Man. The colors. The castle of ice descended as if to call it a match. Oh, fuck. The hammer's coming down. Alice. All she could do was delay the inevitable. She knew that she had been backed into a wall, and right now the only thing she could do was to keep firing. Then again, perhaps not. There was another option. Really? If she converted all of her magical energy into a defense, there was a tiny chance, no, not tiny, a great possibility, in fact, that she could save just her. Wow. Okay. The only option left. Clinging to that broken hope, Alco continued to rotate her circuits. Whoa. So cool. Time seemed to stop at the magical energy overdose. A second of intense pain lasted an eternity. Then, amidst everything... Oh, something approached one step at a time. Wait, what the fuck is that? Is this more fucking Toko bullshit? Something from among the park shadows. Something. Because let's be real, that puppet that was sent before was totally from Toko. Let's be real. This has to be some more fuckery from her. I don't think this is Alice. Something. No. That's not fair. She felt goosebumps from head to toe. Oh yeah, she feels it. That thing is gonna kill her. The issue was no longer the ice overhead. In the midst of the stillness, the Red Death drew closer, step by ominous step. Yeah, red. Her circuits and her mind began to rupture out of terror. The composition of her formula and soul began to rip apart. Oh, God. That is an incomprehensible pain. Soul began to rip apart. There it was, just behind her. Its footsteps came to a halt. It reached around and cupped her face in its blood-stained hands. Is that the same one? No way. She wanted to scream out with all her might. This is it. Nothing matters. I couldn't care less. Run or don't run, it doesn't matter. Quit hiding and reveal yourself. Use whatever you can and show no mercy. That was it. She had one final card to play. Once a miracle had been gifted to her, almost as a joke. It made the ice look like child's play. What? What do you mean? A trump card? She's been holding on to something like that? The ice looked like child's play? What? That was what the Red Death had come to kill. What? Using it would spell ruin. Not using it would mean death by ice. Then, why hesitate? There were no conditions on its use. There was no price to pay for its power. She simply would cease to be herself. Oh, no price, huh? Just a fundamental change in herself. But we see the red there. Is this what's gonna turn her hair red? She gonna use it? Look at her. That was all. You know, that's it. Humans love to exist in areas of gray. Dozens of electrical impulses disconnect in the brain every minute. Nothing lasts forever, not even oneself. It was not anything particularly worthy of disdain. It was not even anything remarkably worthy of being called taboo. Interesting perspective. It's a very mage-like perspective, right? Like, it only changes who you are, your personality. That's no price, really. Humans are constantly dying and changing. Like, what is that really? Alco's like, shut the fuck up. What escaped her lips now was rage, bewilderment from the red silhouette. Yeah, it's like baiting her to use whatever it's talking about. Also, cool song. The girl let out an inaudible scream. Could true magic truly be her savior? What? Oh ho ho ho. The magician, huh? What an opportunistic load of bull. She doesn't, so she just been actively avoiding using her gift of apparently true magic, because I know Alco, I know she's a magician. I know she can utilize true magic. But she herself has not mentioned it even once. We have not seen anything mentioned by her or even implying that, besides like whatever with her grandfather and Alice's whole pseudo true magic stuff. If it is even pseudo, it might actually be. I don't actually know. Maybe as close as you can get to true magic as far as magecraft is concerned. But this is the first where you've seen this. So she doesn't want to use it, it seems like. An opportunistic load of bull. After all, to begin with, red. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that'll also discourage her. But I guess she also doesn't want to. Because, yeah, she left home. She came with Alice. She's learning, like, the traditional way. Indeed, Aoko was still in the dark when it came to that magic, whatever it was. She's... I think it's talked about before. She's kind of the reluctant inheritor of her grandpa's magic. But I still want to know more about that, of course, with Toko as well. Yo, Alco said, fuck that shit. This still isn't good though. Yo, holy moly. She woke from her momentary hallucination. It was a hallucination? Insane. Why here? Why now? Because she knew, yeah, she knew what it was immediately. Run or doesn't run, doesn't matter. Quit hiding, review herself, show no mercy. A miracle that had been gifted to her, almost as a joke. Made the ice look like child's play. That line alone just implies so much. But yeah, it's like Aoko does want to be herself. So I feel like, yeah, she doesn't want to use that because of that. Also, she doesn't know how to do it. Does she even want to learn? Whatever it was, she doesn't. It's like she doesn't even care what it is. That's so interesting. But I think it makes sense given how they characterized her so far, because I think they have talked about that a little bit. About her leaving home and like why she did. She woke up from her momentary hallucination. The very illusion her breaking soul had shown her. Crazy. Okay. And the amount of red that was shown, and knowing that her hair turns red later, we know probably that she uses it. It showed us like a glimpse of like what she would look like, what would happen to her, and she would cease to be the Aoko that we see right now. That's scary. I wonder what's gonna force her, because clearly that's gonna happen. Cool. Whining had the opposite effect on her. Her pride was now ablaze. Whoa. Sojiro was right. Her opponent had put her in check, but she had done the same to it. It was clear why she was losing, so now all she needed was a counter plan, well within her abilities. No matter the odds, she was not one to give up without giving it one last shot. That's right. Her numbed fingers clenched into a tight fist. She was betting against the house, an unreasonable gamble that should have made her question her sanity. As mysterious as it still is, I love her rejecting using her true magic. I love that. Even it being described as making the ice look like child's play, she still refuses to. I feel that says like so much about her character. That is so cool. Regardless of whether she knows how to use it or even what it is, like she understands it would have been enough. And she's just going so hard still, like her as she is. I love that. Let's go, Aoko. If her first step was off by an inch, her body would be instantly vaporized. But she knew a boy who never fled. That's right. She knew of a steadfast courage that could shine its light no matter how small through any desperate situation. Love that. Inspired by Best Boy? Yes, there is more than just herself to be concerned about, that's right. Because yeah, it said earlier if she channeled all her magic into defense, it would save just her. But if that ice fell, it would mean the destruction of the park in its entirety. Everything he had achieved, everything he had risked and dared and happily put his life on the line for, would all be for naught. I don't know, but it's worked so far. It's gonna work for you too. You two are pretty alike in that way. Determination and confidence surged through her like electricity. She was in no mood to be crushed by a giant sheet of ice. If she was going to lose, she'd rather do so as the grandest firework possible. Aoko was a sore loser. At this point, she would rather burn herself to cinders than let it decide her end. Love that. Change. She grunted in pain. Energy raged through her body. Her circuits were on the verge of disintegration. Inscribed upon her body, her magic crest was magecraft given physical form. It did not, however, stop with simply skin and flesh. It burrowed to the very marrow of her bones. Yeah, it's a part of you. A playful smile graced her lips. Her sense of reason had been turned upside down by the pain. That was only natural. She had to praise her own body for holding out so long while pushed beyond its limits, yeah. Still holding on. The skull face noticed the abnormality. It finally recognized the challenge for dominance over this space. Ooh. It laughed at the conceit it faced. Never did it expect a magician to challenge the great Flat Snark, lord of vessels over a millennium and in such an age of decline. Oh yeah, because mystery has declined so much. Yet Aoko dares. I like that. So cool. One magician dares. She tried to catch her breath. She braced herself for the coming pain. She was going to smash that ice to pieces. Both had access to the same amount of magical energy. One of them was greatly outmatched, but...
出力装置に差があった。魔力の吸引、方針の規模で負けているのなら。単純な話。
Okay.
私をでかくするだけでいい。
Make the formula bigger, and me with it. You can't beat it in absorption of the atmospheric energy. Not the size of the barrel, so the formula. Okay, okay. He's trying everything, thinking outside the box. Like, as cool and as action-packed as this scene is, we're seeing so much about Aoko's character. Makes it even more awesome. The feedback would go beyond anything she had experienced to date. Whoa. Quite simply, her decision went beyond recklessness. She expanded both formulae to maximum size. The first layer would transform into a giant vortex, swallowing up the mist. Whoa. The second layer would process it from one end and pump it into her, the barrel. Oh? It doesn't sound like a huge distinction, but we're about to see. Primeval power answered the spellcaster's conviction. What a sentence. Primeval. That's fire. Damn. It formed the pattern of a writhing serpents. Voiceless magical power flew a banner of revolution. Now look upon the earth, O venerable one. See now this pioneer, the first among trailblazers. Oh, so this VN is like... We're just documenting the journey of the GOAT magician, the greatest magician of all time, I see. She embodies a species that knows no fear, that renders not all manner of mystic and tradition. Indeed. Boojum? What is that? Holy. Oh, the narration switching from just describing Aoko to like how Flat Snark would speak and describe the situation, and oh, the writing. For the newest magician commands the principles of consumption and extinction. The principle of extinction. This one has to be it. Come on, after all that. Oh, when the whole screen turns into blue beam, that's how you know. Goku could never. An aberrant bullet of light melted through the castle of ice. Okay, maybe Goku could, but this is cooler. The barrel held fast. Her control of magical energy was divine. 100,000 miles of veins equal to 2.5 times the... I beg your pardon? The circumference of the Earth hungrily drank in the magical energy. The subsequent magical strike hurtled straight up at the moon. I'm sorry. What? That's... What? Is that how many circuits she has? Or is that just, am I just ignorant of the anatomy of the human body? Hold on. I can't type. Fuck. Okay, there is in fact not 100,000 miles of veins in the human body. But there are in Alco. Magic circuit wise, I guess. That is the craziest way I've ever had described that. What? Who the fuck is our protagonist, man? Holy shit. Alright, Flat Snark got Gilgameshed, I'm afraid. Oh no, no, no! Death rose from the moon's surface. A cry of indignant terror echoed through the abandoned park. I so expected Alice to jump in. No, Alco is just them. She is her. He just won. Holy fuck. Reality was burned into the eyes of this creature of fantasy. What a sentence. Love that. To Alco, its vain struggle was the taste of victory. Victory despite her absolute reckless use of magical energy. The energy scales had been tipped to their breaking point, but nevertheless in her favor. She did it all without true magic as well. Tear it a new one. Is that part of the incantation? If so, hell yeah. Tear it a new one. Whoa. Okay, that's the annihilating blast. Yep, whole screen. Whole screen. There we go. There it is. Oh. Fuck yes. Yeah, sorry, Alice. I don't know how Flat Snark's gonna come back from this one. Shatter, 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 shatter. The skyscraper shattered into atomized dust. The island its unattainability extolled had swallowed whole the despair of its many challengers. Long had it proudly eluded mankind's intellect. Until now. Bang. Here's a shot for you. Yet now, azure mist bemoaned its demise. In the sky, the icy canopy crumbled. The snark hunting bullet jumped over the moon. There the fuck it is. There the fuck it is, man. That's so good. Are you kidding me? Nasu, you gotta chill. I'm so glad they didn't, but Nasu, you gotta fucking relax. This is too good. Its throes of death sounded like the roaring sea reverberating across this fairy tale land. The snark hunting bullet jumped over the moon. Hey diddle diddle. The cat and the fiddle. Holy shit. The battle was over. The thick fog dissipated and the shattered ice melted away before it hit the ground. A lethal bullet unseated the Night King from his throne, affording him no time to grieve his loss. Wow. The oil of the moon. The untouched, flat snark. Until now, the untouched. The dreamscape that had begun with its resurrection ended with its demise, drawing a close to the nightmare. Should have listened to Alice. You know, that's crazy. I wonder if Alice knew that Aoko could win. That's why she wasn't calling Flat Snark to protect Aoko. She was trying to protect Flat Snark. Because Alice knows. I feel like if anyone knows Aoko's potential, it's Alice. Yo. And Aoko did it all, like all her. Like, yes, she has an insane number of circuits. She's an inheritor of true magic. A reluctant inheritor, but one nonetheless. But she still did it without that true magic. Without choosing herself to just shield herself and sacrificing Sojiro and the park. She did it on her own terms, preserving her what she cared about, who she is, how she wanted to do it, and she did it. And that is so further solidified by the fact that, because yeah, she could have shielded herself, but the fact that her true magic gift miracle thing would have made this trivial, it would have eroded herself, who she is, which is really sad. And from her a personal standpoint and just in general, yeah, why the fuck would she do that? From a mage's perspective, which is interesting the way the narrator describes it, it's quote unquote no price. You're not sacrificing any ability, anything physically, really. Like there's no physical toll, mental toll, really. You're not yourself anymore. You are probably so overwhelmed as the vessel of that power that that's who you are. You become red, I guess, red-haired. But I assume Aoko does use it at some point, and if and when she does, because we know she does at a certain point, we're assuming the red hair is a result of that. But if and when she does, will she be able to maintain herself? I think she will be. But if she is, I think it's going to be because of maybe Sojiro, because of her own personal conviction is so strong, so stubborn, right? That maybe she does hold on because she is Aoko Aozaki. But man, this VN is good. Like this scene right here, for an action scene to so greatly characterize the participant, reminds me a lot of Shiro versus Archer and Unlimited Blade Works. Like it's a fight, but it's all about Shiro just affirming his ideal in the face of himself, literally. Like this reminds me of that in that sense. This was so fucking cool. This made me like Aoko a lot more. That was awesome.